This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right, it's time for the WWE Podcast Mailbag. It is Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. It is now the final 2 months of the year, unbelievably, and we'll be in 2024 before you know it. Christmas will be here, New Year's will be here, and we'll be in the dead of winter. But that means we'll be closer to WrestleMania season, and we are now creeping closer and closer to Crown Jewel that comes to you in just a couple of days from Saudi Arabia. And if you're on the East Coast, it's 1 o'clock, which is a weird time. As I said before, I won't be able to watch it in person, or rather real time. So I'll be doing a delayed reaction to Crown Jewel, and we'll be doing a preview and prediction show this Friday morning. I'll be posting a preview and prediction show with Sharon from Israel. So that's going to be coming to you guys on Friday, and looking forward to that. And also, don't forget to go ad-free, everybody. Ad-free. Good time to go ad-free during these PLE weeks, because you get everything ad-free for free for 1 week. That ad-free trial is valid for Apple Podcasts and Patreon. So, alrighty. Well, speaking of Patreon, you guys who are patrons of the show get to go first in this mailbag. And up first it's loading, Frank. And Frank says, let me talk to you. And he said, first off, after that awesome match with the Creed brothers and Alpha, I think it would be a great faction. Absolutely. You know, I think that WWE has overdone it with factions, but specifically heel factions. Outside of the LWO, what babyface factions do we have? Not tag teams, but factions, 3 or more. It's limited. So I wouldn't mind that at all. I also wouldn't mind these two teams as opponents for the next month or so. Get a couple more awesome matches out of them, because they have proven themselves to be just wrestling machines, at least. Again, for those that have only watched them on Raw, it's only a very small sample size of one match. But they have a larger body of work, the Creed brothers, that is, beyond Raw. Obviously, they were in NXT for a while, and they have actual athletic credentials to back them up. So I wouldn't mind them being opponents before they think about a faction, because I think there's more juice to squeeze out of them as opponents right now. But sure, add more babyface factions. That is in short supply. All right, second, why can't Cody make up his mind on what his story is? It was the title for his dad. Now it's the Judgment Day. Just let it go, Cody. That's what I've been saying. You know, this past week it was weird. He said, that's my story now. Like, I don't know if he meant it as a replacement or just right now in the interim, this is his story. But he also said he's back on track, meaning he's referring to Roman Reigns' championship, I would think. He didn't say that out loud, but that was kind of what I inferred from it. But yeah, it was weird that all of a sudden, yeah, that's his path, and it goes through Damian Priest. It was weird. Yeah, but Cody's on his story, guys. He's reading his book, so we can all gather around as Cody sits on his lazy boy and reads to us out of what his story is, because we're all so on the edge of our seats, aren't we? I have a feeling the person accepting Shinsuke's open challenge could be CM Punk or Randy Orton. Till next time, go Detroit Lions. You're awesome. I'm out. All right, Frank. Well, thank you so much. It could be. Shinsuke's open challenge could be CM Punk or Randy Orton. Now, a couple things. CM Punk apparently was turned down by WWE. They didn't offer him, or they turned down CM Punk's offer to rejoin. That's been the latest. Now, can I validate that? No. Every time we turn around, we're getting conflicting reports, so we don't know what the hell's true. But what I do know is that WWE right now is planning on bringing Randy Orton back very soon, and that Roman Reigns is actually done having matches for the rest of the year after Crown Jewel. That he's going to disappear once again from the face of the earth after Crown Jewel. And apparently we're all supposed to not care or be distracted by the fact that Randy Orton is back. So we're all supposed to just go, oh, well, Randy, or Roman's not here. Randy Orton's back. And that is cool. It'll be awesome to see him since May of 2022. It's been forever. Was it 19, 17, 18, 19 months? That's great. But to me, that doesn't make up for the fact that our champion isn't here. See, that's the problem. I wouldn't care so much if Roman had this schedule and he wasn't the champion. The fact he is the champion is the biggest problem. And the fact that he is racking up hundreds and hundreds of days and not even being there, that to me is the biggest problem I have with this whole thing. And so just be prepared, guys. Apparently, the latest reports are Randy's going to come back. He'll be the talk of the town. Roman Reigns is going to go away, as he always does, as if there's some kind of revelation. To me, it's just business as usual, unfortunately, which I'm not getting used to and I'm not excusing because it's now a quote normal thing. I'm not buying that crap. But we're all supposed to be just distracted by Randy Orton's return, and so we won't have such a visceral reaction to Roman not being there for yet another 2 months or more with Randy Orton back. So just be aware, guys. That's the logic with WWE right now, that they're going to try to put Randy Orton out there, hoping we won't care or notice that Roman Reigns is gone again. So just keep that in mind. But thank you, Frank. Okay, let's keep it rolling, baby. And we have another patron, as always, and this is from Mark, who is a patron. Report from the Germany tour. Mark says, "Hey, Matt, hope you're doing fine. I attended a live show in Cologne last week, and I have to admit that it was the best house show in years. You could really feel that the stars enjoy what they were doing, especially guys like Gunther, Kaiser, your guys, Kaiser, Gunther, and Vinci. They all got enormous pops and support, especially Kaiser as our home country hero. Funny part was, they had matches against Alpha Academy, and Alpha Academy turned heel for the night after Gable dissed Cologne in Germany. Really funny segment. Also The Miz interacting with the crowd before, during his match against Cody was hilarious. That was my quick report from Germany. Have a nice week, and shout out to our friend from Israel. Hope he is well." Yes, so thank you for those notes. Now, house shows are fun. I'm sure they're fun for the talent. They're fun for the crowd there because, sure, you're not on TV, so that is a bummer for a lot of people because, when they go to a WWE event, some people don't even realize that every show they do isn't televised. Most shows they do actually aren't televised. But, so you can look at that as a bummer. But at the same time, the creative freedom that stars have and WWE has during those house shows is unlimited because you aren't capped on what the story is. You're not constrained. Is that a word? It is now, because otherwise I'll feel embarrassed. Constrained, is that a word? I don't know. By whatever they're trying to do right now in the story, other than, of course, they tell you what the finish is. You can't just decide. The talent doesn't decide on who wins and who loses. The agents and management do. But, for example, they can turn the Alpha Academy heel for the night because that makes sense. They're from the United States. They're in now a foreign country. And, of course, they're going to boo the United States and cheer for their country. Of course, especially for Kaiser. Sure. And so this is a lot of fun. And as you said, the Miz interacting with the crowd, that sounds like a lot of fun. This is where creative freedom is at its peak in WWE, or during these house shows. So very good. Thank you, Mark. All right, DJ Kuzmo, let's rock and roll here. So he says, "Hello, WWE and AEW podcast world. It's DJ Kuzmo back at it again on your Mailbag show. Is today really the 3rd anniversary of the Mailbag? I totally forgot what year it started. Anyway, yeah, I have no idea, DJ. Like I said, you guys tell me. I have no clue. The only thing I do know is that I started podcasting generally, not even under this name, under a different name, in 2014. I think it was February of 2014. So I'm coming up on nearly 10 years of just podcasting generally. This show, the WWE podcast, once I morphed it from my original name to this, I think it happened in like 2018. So yeah, you would think I'd know that. But so this show's been in existence for like 5 years, but podcasting generally has been like 10. All right, I appreciate you, Matt, for reading our emails and listening to our voice rants and messages late into the night while your family is sleeping. That's dedication. We appreciate you. Thanks for giving us, the patrons and listeners, an opportunity to voice our opinion every week about the WWE and other things that might be on our mind. All the best for much continued success. And yes, we still miss you, Mr. and Mrs. Casual Wrestling Fan. Agreed. Yeah, maybe I'll do like one of those online petitions. Just get Mr. and Mrs. Casual Wrestling Fan back. They're just, again, they have just life going on. So I'll continue to reach out. They're welcome back anytime. I miss them as much as you guys do. They're so much fun. Genuinely very nice people. And the door is always open for them to return. And so keep an eye out. I mean, I may, maybe I'll push them a little harder and guilt them into coming back. But thank you. Yeah, no, my family is sleeping right now, so I'm not tooting my own horn. It's not just me doing this, right? Like any content creator, if you have a real life in-person big boy or big girl job and you want to make this a success and you have a passion for podcasting or content creation, if you have a YouTube channel, you have to take the time that other people are sitting there sleeping or, I'd rather be laying down in bed right now, to be honest. I'm exhausted, but these are the sacrifices you have to make, as any content creator does. So I'm not special, but it is something that I think a lot of people, when they get into podcasting and into content creation, don't realize that it has to be very consistent and it's going to be difficult to stand out. And for a long time, you're going to do it because you love it and not get paid for it. A lot of people don't realize that, and then they bow out quick. They think it's just, you put a microphone in front of your face, you say some things for 20 minutes and you post it and you make a whole bunch of money and sponsors are going to chase you down. Yeah, doesn't happen. But anyway, thank you, DJ. So here are your Kuzmo Crown Jewel predictions and potential spoilers. 1, Roman versus LA Knight for the Undisputed title. So you're saying Roman, even though LA Knight is everyone's favorite to win. Is he, though? I actually would like to look at the Vegas odds on this. I thought that Roman is the heavy favorite. I think everyone wants LA Knight to win, but I don't think people actually believe he will. It just doesn't make sense in the story for so many different reasons. But all right, number 2, Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul for the U.S. title. You're saying Rey retains so that Logan goes back to feud with Ricochet and Rey moves on to a feud with Bobby for the U.S. championship. Ooh, I like that. Number 3, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the world title. You're telling me that Seth Rollins retains again, but Drew turns heel in the loss either at the event or the Monday Night Raw after. Number 4, Bianca Belair versus Io Sky for the Women's Championship. Bianca Belair becomes the champion to finally get revenge on Io since Money in the Bank. Rhea versus Zoe versus Nia versus Raquel versus Shayna, a fatal 5-way for the Women's World Championship match. You're saying Rhea retains easily. And now to the 3 singles matches. John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. I say that Cena gets the win here. He hasn't won a televised one-on-one match since 2018 when he defeated Triple H at the Greatest Royal Rumble in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I don't know what happens next for Cena after this match, but this will be a big win for him. Well, I'm not trying to give away my own predictions, but number 1, the stat about the 2018 thing is actually true, but I pointed out several times over the last few shows that John Cena's stat, while true, doesn't tell the whole story, as John Cena has had 3 matches since 2018, and 2 of those years since 2018, he has not even been in WWE to have a match, singles match. Okay, so, he's actually only lost like a couple of matches total because he hasn't been around. So you need to take that into consideration. That kind of puts things in a little bit of a different light. But, yeah, okay. So if Cena wins and then goes away, which he's scheduled to do, how does that help Solo, though? Because John Cena, let's be honest, is in the give back portion of his career. He's not here to put himself over, but he does say he needs a win. But what if he doesn't get that win and then he goes away? But what if he does and goes away? I'll just leave it there, and I'll give you guys my predictions in a couple days. But I like your logic is sound there, DJ, as always. Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. You're saying Priest gets the win here with some help yet again, as this very long Judgment Day feud continues into Survivor Series. And finally, the kickoff match, Sami Zayn versus JD or PJ McDonough. I say Sami gets the win, but I wouldn't be surprised if JD does, since he's been used as a punching bag for Cody, Jay, and Sami. DJ Kuzmo signing off. Have a great weekend. All right. Oh, DJ, well, I appreciate that. And Veer Mahan Report is coming up soon. So let's continue with another patron, Rocky T. And, well, I'll let him introduce himself instead of me.
Yo, it's me. It's me.
It's Rocky T.
Yeah, that's better, right? All right. So let's go. He says, checking in once again, you know the name. Whose game? With everybody saying, thank you, Matt. Why are we all thanking you, Matt? Well, let me talk to you. Do you see, today's the 156th episode of the Mailbag. That makes this the 3rd year anniversary. I heard some of you saying the past few weeks you wishing the Mailbag a happy birthday, and I'm hoping that's because you saw my messages in the Discord server asking you to do so. You see, the Mailbag is a very special place for me. The Mailbag has helped me express feelings to people who understand me. So I just want to thank and give a shout out to all the listeners and contributors of the Mailbag, and the biggest thanks and shout out goes to Matt for extra time of your busy life to do the Mailbag, especially when you have some emails and voicemails at the back end of a weekend review. I've been listening and contributing since the very beginning of the Mailbag. I'm really glad the way it's grown over the years. Long live the Mailbag. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Rocky. And, you know, it's great to have you part of the team and doing Wrestle Magic, which, by the way, guys, we've been pumping out episodes left and right on that. If you haven't seen listened to part 2 and part 3 of the Halloween special, episode 7 for Wrestle Magic that had Michael Gross, Rocky T, and Justin Credible, those 2 parts, part 2 and 3, are behind Patreon or inside Patreon. So check that out if you want to listen to those with Justin Credible, Michael Gross, and of course Rocky T. And we also published another episode of Wrestle Magic Rivalries that has a couple of new hosts, and I think you'll enjoy that as well. Both of those are also ad-free on Patreon. But thank you, Rocky, and thank you to everybody. You know, you guys, this show doesn't exist without you guys. This isn't about me. I respond to what you send. So this is really a thank you to you guys for taking me away from my nice warm bed where I could be binging a Netflix series and sipping some water and falling into dreamland. I'd rather be nowhere else than sitting in front of my microphone and falling asleep. So I'm saying that half serious. Like I really do enjoy hearing what you guys have to say, because all you do is listen to me all week, and you're like, oh, but I don't agree with that. Well, he's so stupid, or you're like, oh, I really do agree with that, or he does have some good points. I'm sure there are both extreme ends of the spectrum, and this is the time where you guys get to agree, disagree, voice your opinion. And so that's what this is for. It's kind of a listener dedication every week. Maybe you guys can start calling me Delilah. I don't know. I used to love Delilah, I gotta say. I mean, even when, you guys know I'm right on this. Yeah, probably. Although my demo is like usually men 20 to 40, 45 years old, right? That's like my key demo. But hear me out. If you're on a long drive, especially at night, and you hear Delilah, tell me she isn't a great way to take a kind of a solo, like, night ride in your car. I mean, she just is perfect, a perfect soundtrack. So I never thought I'd ever, I don't know if I've ever brought up Delilah on this show, but that's where my brain takes me. So scary place to be. All right, let's go. Another patron. Here we go. This is Bad Fish, and he says, hey, Matt, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this one, and maybe there are people that agree with me out there, but if they are quiet on the mailbag side of things, but are there quiet? I'm not sure what you mean. If there are, they're quiet. Oh, I know what you mean. You're saying there are people that agree with you, but if they do, they're quiet on the mailbag side of things. Got it. Logan Paul is coming out of Crown Jewel, the champ, and I'm here for it. The guy might be a mega turd, but he's entertaining as hell. I love heels, and he plays that role so well. Plus, all due respect to Ray, but his title reign is boring. I think he deserves a better title run, and Logan is the perfect guy. The title deserves a better run, and Logan's a perfect guy for it. Don't hate me, y'all, just calling it how I see it. No. I couldn't agree more. Now, I have maintained my feelings on Logan Paul on a personal level, but that doesn't mean that how I feel about him personally should supersede what's better for business and best for business, as the cliche goes. Because you very well may make a better case to have Logan Paul win than Rey Mysterio retain. Now, the question becomes, though, does Logan Paul go into hiding, or does Logan Paul take on a more significant role in WWE? We already have an absentee champion at a degree and a level we've never experienced. And I don't want to hear that Brock Lesnar, oh, we all did it with Brock. All of a sudden it's a problem when Roman does it. Brock, number one, when Brock did it, okay, we actually had a consistent world champion on the other side of the show. WWE champion, right? Or a Universal champion, rather. And we didn't have that year where there was no other champion. And Roman takes off significantly more time than Brock does. Okay. And this has gone on way longer than Brock's run. Okay. So that's out the window. But my point is, circling this back to Logan, I don't need Logan to win and then take a Roman Reigns schedule. Okay. We have enough of that already. So if he's here, even on a semi-regular basis, I don't need him every show, but competing on every PLE, defending his belt on a PLE, then sure, I would agree he's a better option. Putting my personal feelings aside about him, he has 20 million social media followers, and it's not to count somebody's worth by followers, even though some people unfortunately do that today. If you're WWE, you look at that and go, well, those are dollar signs right there. You could convert some of those 20 million people into subscribers, into viewers. You know, like, it's tempting. So Logan Paul, you know, he has proven himself in the ring. He can go. He has no business being as good as he is in the ring or on the mic. This seems to fit him perfectly. So that's not, I don't think you're out of line there, buddy. I don't. So, all right. Let's continue on. And let's talk to John. John says, hi there. Love the show. First time emailing. Well, welcome. I've got a question about a potential scenario at Crown Jewel. Say the opening match is Drew versus Seth. It's a classic match. The two beat each other into oblivion. Drew gets the upper hand and is about to win. Then Damian Priest comes out with Money in the Bank and cashes in. This would kind of add to the storyline of Drew once again getting screwed over, kind of like the Clash at the Castle. So Damian comes in, takes advantage of a beaten down Seth. Finn and Dom beat up on Drew while Damian goes in and wins the title. He's the new World Heavyweight Champion. Later that night, Damian has a match with Cody. Does that match then become a World Heavyweight Championship match? Is it conceivable that Cody could leave Crown Jewel with the title? Could Adam Pearce and Triple H come in and say, guess what? Your match with Cody is for the World Heavyweight Championship? I know it's a crazy scenario, but it would make for an interesting story. The only reason I don't know if it'll play out is because I don't think they have Cody set on Roman's title. But it could be an interesting way to put the belt on Cody, and I think there's a lot of directions they could go with that. Maybe turning Jay heel again against Cody, or Drew Cody, or even Gunther Cody, if they're ready to move Gunther to the next level. Just wondering your thoughts on that. Have a great night. Thanks. And you too. And I really appreciate the email. Very, very well laid out. Plausible. But here's the thing. I don't think... I think what's... Okay, first of all, let me just tell you why I think this is a good idea. Cody can finish his story. If his story is just to become a world champion, then sure, this is a conclusion to his story, but they did tease Roman and Cody a few weeks ago on SmackDown again. So there's that. And having Damian be a very, very fast interim champion would infuriate Damian, but it would also, set the world on fire with Cody winning. I mean, a lot of fans love him. And it would be a big moment. It would be creatively kind of fun to watch. But I don't think, number one, that Drew and Seth is going to go on first. It very well could, because they're not going to put these two title matches of Roman and LA Knight and Drew and Seth next to each other. It's kind of like having two Elimination Chamber matches or two title ladder matches, TLC matches, Money in the Bank. Like they have a men's and a women's. You usually put them on opposite ends of the show so it feels fresh, and you get one out of the way right away, and the other one is going to be the main event. So the timing of this, having Seth open the show and facing Drew it's not impossible, but I don't know if they would do it. They may put them on like second or third, and then obviously Roman and LA Knight will main event. So there's that, but also Gunther I don't think is ready to move on. How do I know he's not ready to move on? Because he still has the Intercontinental title around his waist or over his shoulder. And that means that he's still in the Intercontinental title world. So to me, when Gunther drops the belt, he's moving on. And it's a sign that he's moving on and moving up, not moving down. A Gunther loss of his title, like him dropping the title, it's a good sign if you're a Gunther fan at some point. But I don't think they're ready with that yet. Now, you could turn Jay heel, but Jay's just trying to get some momentum. He's just trying to feel himself out as a true babyface, trying to make amends with all of the past evils he's committed and trying to gain the trust of his previous former rivals. It's a fun story. So I don't think they're going to do that yet. Jay has been a heel for the last better part of 3 years as part of the bloodline. So I don't think they're going to do that. But I think a Drew heel turn is very likely. And again, I'll give my official predictions down the line here in a couple days. Excuse me. But it's possible, bro. I like your logic. I like it. I don't think it's going to happen because I also don't think they want to just kind of shoehorn Cody into that position and still want to make it look like Cody is scratching and clawing to finish his story rather than just kind of stumbling into this opportunity where he's also the heavy favorite to beat Damian Priest. Where instead they'd rather play the underdog where in a Roman Reigns match, sorry guys, words are hard tonight. In a Roman match, he's the underdog. So, thanks, buddy. Hope you email next week. And let's continue here. And let's see. This is from Gary. And Gary says, Drew and Judgment Day as their new big man. In my opinion, every heel faction needs a big, scary enforcer type. And Priest just isn't it. He's just not scary at all. Would love to see Drew and JD bounce Priest out of Judgment Day, completely out of nowhere in a huge beatdown. Maybe as part of Judgment Day, he will get more heat than he seems to be able to generate on his own. He's just too nice and isn't fooling anyone when he tries to be heel. He needs a heel run desperately, but needs help getting there. I think he'd fit well with Finn and Rhea. I'm also not sold on Priest yet becoming anything more than an upper mid-card. He's not main event material. What say you, Gary? Well, Gary, thanks for writing in. And I here's the thing. I just keep, hammering this home that I think Drew is going to turn heel, and I do. But the question is, when? Is it during the actual match with Seth? Does he do something underhanded? Does he continue to take advantage of opportunities that he shouldn't, quote unquote, shouldn't? How does this happen? Is it the next night? Does he low blow after he loses to Seth like a Shinsuke Nakamura did to AJ Styles at WrestleMania? Like, how does this happen? Where's that moment? Because over the last couple of weeks, they've kind of gotten away from it a little bit, where Drew's just been more of a stand-up guy, telling everybody what it means to him for this opportunity. This opportunity means everything, and trying to pull sympathy out of fans for being in an arena full of nobody when he won at WrestleMania 36. and beat Brock Lesnar. So I don't know when they're going to pull the trigger, but this is another great way. Like, the Judgment Day has been trying to recruit Seth and Drew for weeks. And I do not see Seth joining, but I could see Drew. Even though Drew to me is a guy that doesn't need a faction, and I like him on his own, and even Drew himself has been vocal about the fact that he'd rather be alone than in a group. It's still very possible. And like you said, Damian Priest just isn't scary. He's got a nice deep voice, no doubt about it. He's probably got one of the best voices in the history of the company from when it comes to this, like, a speaking voice, his tone, his mannerisms. Like, he's got a great, like, he'd be a great dude for radio. He does have that commanding, deep, very masculine voice. It's great. And Drew is more intimidating, though, despite the voice. Damian just isn't. But good stuff. I appreciate that, Gary. All right. Let's continue. And let's go to another patron. This is New York Kyle. He's back for Crown Jewel predictions. And he says, first up on the kickoff, it's Sammy versus J.D. McDonough. You think Sammy will win for some, quote, momentum? Next up, the main event on the main show is the American politician who can never look weak, Cody Rhodes versus the Undisputed Tag Team Champion and Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. That I actually think is going to open the show. I think Cody versus Damian is going to open the show. Agreed. If that's what you meant. Because Cody's music opening the show, it's peak energy in the building or in the stadium. And you also get Damian Priest out of your mind quickly so that by the time that Seth and Drew happens, if it's later in the show, maybe people aren't thinking, oh, he could cash in, right? But I think that's a very nice opening match is Cody versus Damian. So you're saying that I think Cody will win. To say it to me, say it with me, class, quote to quote, finish his story. Yeah, okay. Again, as we said earlier, I don't know what his story is anymore, but as most of you can tell with the sarcasm, I'm also like Matt. I'm not a Cody Rhodes fan. Well, welcome to the party. Next up is John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. I think Solo will win, shocking everyone, and we won't see John Cena again until WrestleMania 40 or maybe in the Men's Royal Rumble match. You're kind of stealing my thunder from my predictions there, buddy. But I'll just say I really like that prediction. Next, WWE Women's Champion Io Sky defending against Bianca Belair. I think Io retains with help from Bayley, and we get a tease of potential incoming Bianca Belair heel turn. Interesting. I have to say, you're probably on the outside looking in when it comes to that prediction, but you'll be the smartest guy in the room if that happens. Next up is the Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley, defending against the 5 women for the Fatal 5-Way match. I think it's pretty obvious, but Mommy retains here. Next, the United States Champion, Rey Mysterio, defending against Logan Paul. I love Rey, and I do like Logan Paul as a heel, but I do think Logan will win the U.S. title, which will not hurt Rey in defeat because, well, he's Rey Mysterio. Yeah, and as a previous emailer said, his title reign, it has been ultra boring. But next up, World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins defending against Drew McIntyre. I think Drew actually wins here, but Damian Priest will cash in after the match and become the new World Heavyweight Champion, and also making Damian a double champion. And finally, in our main event, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns defends against LA Knight. Yeah, I am with Mr. Casual Wrestling Fan, and I'm still a fan of Roman and this reign of his, but I also love LA Knight, so I'm fine with either guy winning. But I don't think WWE wants to give it to LA Knight yet. So the Tribal Chief retains. That's all for this week. I hope everyone enjoys Crown Jewel, and I'll talk to you next time. All right, thanks, Kyle. You know what I was just thinking when you were saying that? What if we get a moment backstage where Seth and Roman cross paths? No physicality. Just kind of like they pass each other in the hallway. You know, one's going out for their match, the other one is walking the opposite way, and they catch on camera, they just kind of have a quick stare down and eyeball each other and keep walking. I would like that, because how we don't have and haven't gotten a proper Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns matchup is it's really unfathomable. Given how good both men are, the history that these two men have together, my God. So that's what I'll also be looking for, selfishly, is any kind of interaction backstage between Seth and Roman, if possible. But good predictions. Again, it's hard for me to comment on these because, number one, I still haven't actually figured out all of my thoughts on who's going to win what and that kind of thing. But I also don't want to discourage you guys from listening to my show on Friday. Okay, couple more. So this is Mason, and he says, "Let me talk to you. I was on my couch Monday night listening to the Weekend Review, and when you said a T-shirt with Cody Rhodes' face and, quote, 'what do you want to talk about?' I proceeded to walk to the bathroom of my house and throw up multiple times. The Cody Rhodes shirt is now haunting my nightmares, and it was so much worse when I saw a trick-or-treater show up to my house dressed as Cody, and instead of saying trick or treat, he said the line we all know, but I think I will puke if I say it again. Other than that, Raw was good, and I'm still opting for Ricochet heel turn and think it may be a good next opponent for Seth if he retains against Drew. That's all." Okay. I didn't mean to make you physically ill, but can you not see that shirt? Cody Rhodes with his stupid, smiling, pearly white teeth, with his, Justin Timberlake 2000 hair dye, just smiling on a T-shirt. He has a microphone in his hand, and right underneath is the caption, "So what do you want to talk about?" I mean, how? They might as well just print it now if they don't already have it. But if some kids showed it to my house and they were dressed as Cody Rhodes and they said that to me, instead of saying trick or treat, number one, you already have a massive strike against you being Cody Rhodes. Number two, you have strike two when you don't say trick or treat and you actually say the "what do you want to talk about" phrase. All right. And it's just, to me, that's enough. Like my instinct would be to, sweet chin music the kid. Of course I can't do that. But no, I mean, really, like, if some kid did that, I really don't know if I'd give him candy. I would make him disavow his allegiance to Cody before I gave him any candy. I'd make him rub all of the hair dye out of his head. I'd throw him an Austin 316 T-shirt. Maybe I'd throw him a beer and then give him a stunner, and I'd close the door. That's what I'd do. Good God, man, if that's true, God bless you. All right, here we go. This is from Malachi, and not Mordecai, but Malachi. You guys remember Mordecai, don't you? Oh, those of us that watched SmackDown in the early 2000s know who Mordecai is, but this is Malachi. And Malachi says, "I'm so glad Bianca is back. With her and Roman back, SmackDown is that special feeling again. Well, don't get used to it, Malachi, because only one of them is going to be there soon." All right. So she came out there Friday and cut one of her best promos. It had fire, emotion, and purpose. "We're getting the slow character turn you want. I don't need Bianca to win the title unless she's going to drop it to Charlotte. My fantasy booking would be Bianca beats Io either because of a cheap shot or Bayley causing the loss. Do Bayley versus Bianca versus Io versus Charlotte on SmackDown in December, with Charlotte pinning Bayley, having Charlotte refuse to give Bianca the rematch and Bianca turning a tweener and a heel. Have her go on to win the Rumble, becoming the first ever two-time Women Royal Rumble winner. And just build and build and build this Charlotte versus Bianca mega match from the Rumble to Mania, and it'll be great. It should be a main event night one, having Bianca and Charlotte to be the first ever multi-main event women in WWE, with Bianca conquering all four horsewomen by beating Charlotte. Just my thoughts. Tell me what you think. Well, first, I'm glad you're focusing on the women's division. Feels like the women's division has really fallen by the wayside. it feels like it's not even really much of a discussion anymore. And it can bounce back. It's not an awful place that's unredeemable. But just both brands for the women have felt just kind of afterthoughts. And that's not to say everything going on is bad. It's just kind of the ebb and flow of what we're in right now, the season of kind of indifference for the women's division. But that said, haven't we already done Bayley or Bianca and Charlotte for WrestleMania? So since we have, I think you're forgetting somebody massive here. Jade Cargill. Now, Jade Cargill is so far just kind of floating on both brands, creating moments that WWE loves to create so much, and having confrontations and teasing where she's going to go. But I think at some point, she's going to inject herself into a storyline, probably on SmackDown, and confront the champion, whoever that is. And she very well may be involved with or have a one-on-one match with the champion heading into WrestleMania. So that's my take on it. Now, I'd say kind of on a personal level, Jade Cargill on Twitter is insufferable. And maybe I didn't follow her before, when she was in AEW. I knew who she was. I'd seen a little bit of her work. She comes to WWE, and they make a massive deal about signing her. Probably one of the biggest teases, or rather kind of setups and noise that WWE has made publicly about a signing, especially for a woman signing. And that's a good thing. I like it because she is a big deal. But how she's reacted is suspicious. What I mean by that is, I would imagine they're trying to position her as a babyface when she debuts officially to whatever brand and challenges whoever. They're trying to make her a babyface because people are going to be excited to see her. They're going to cheer her. That's inevitable. But on Twitter, or X, she has been all of her posts are, this is what a real queen looks like. This is my favorite picture of myself. I mean, stuff that just like nobody puts out about themselves. You may think it. There's nothing wrong with confidence, but there's a difference between confidence and arrogance and being insufferable. You can be confident and arrogant. They aren't mutually exclusive things. I think outward confidence is arrogance and silent confidence is confidence. And right now she's being look, okay, you have an insanely muscular body. You're in better shape than some of the men on the roster. Cool, bro. But like, if they think they're going to have any kind of sustained run with Jade Cargill, they have another thing coming, because she's already super dominant. I think people are in tune with her personality on social media. That's a factor nowadays. And they're going to realize she's a odds-on favorite to win every match she's in because of her physical abilities, because of how she looks, right? It's going to be very difficult to create any sympathy for her. Maybe they bring her in as a heel. I don't know, but I doubt it. All right. Couple more emails. And we'll close it out. This is from David. And he says, so I have a scenario revolving around the women's 5-way match at Crown Jewel. Since the main criteria is who's the badass woman in WWE, what if before the match starts, Adam Pearce comes out and announced that he added another person to the match? Jade Cargill comes out. I really didn't plan this, guys. And answers. She ends up winning. The following Raw, Rhea went to Adam and complained that he had conspired against her and she deserved that rematch that night, and how Jade was given a title shot without earning it. Later on, Jade comes down to the ring, and before she can celebrate, Rhea's music hits and appears walking down with purpose. They go face to face. Jade holds up the championship and says, I'm your mommy now. If you disagree, do something. They just stare at one another as Raw goes off the air. This is how I'd write it, at least. You'll probably disagree with that, what I'm about to say. Oh, wait, okay, this is the next topic. But, again, if the idea is to create Jade Cargill a babyface, this is a very bad way to do it. Because Jade Cargill has done nothing to earn a women's championship match. Nothing. You know, lifting all the weights you want and looking insanely muscular and insanely in shape does not automatically qualify you for a championship match. Also, I think fans would look at that as a very entitled night one win, kind of like too much too soon type of thing. And I also think that they're more organically connected to Rhea Ripley than they are Jade Cargill. That would blow up in their face, not immediately, but fairly quickly after the initial pop for the shock of the moment. Like, people would pop for the moment, but then I think after the noise stops and the dust settles, people would go, hey, well, wait a minute. It'd be one of those deals. You probably disagree with what I'm about to say next, but I strongly believe The Miz does deserve an opportunity to face Gunther for the IC title. Here's why. Not only that The Miz has the credentials, but he's one of the few that can go from irrelevant to relevant in a short notice. For example, Shinsuke Nakamura, and he has a lot to prove. I think people sometimes forget how good The Miz can be in the ring. He's a clown, but the WWE is mainly to blame there. Give it a chance with the right story, he can take the opportunity and make every moment count. There's a reason why he's still in the WWE after 20 years. You know, I don't hate him having a championship opportunity. And I don't think I ever said he shouldn't get one. I said he shouldn't be the one to beat Gunther. Big difference. You know, and sure, he does talk great on the mic. He does. And he's good in the ring. But he's not a real threat and should not be a real threat to Gunther. You know, like, that's the difference. Last, LA Knight could pull the shock and beat Roman Reigns, or could he? I heard that the 60-day rule is back of champions having to defend their championships or they have to relinquish it, and Roman's schedule doesn't fit with how the WWE is going to operate. So the WWE is talking about having him lose. Have a good day. I haven't heard that. Actually, it was 30 days, and suddenly that was not adhered to, and now it's 60 days. I don't know about all that. I don't think that they're actually going to implement a rule in real life that says that, because everything is driven by storyline, not by actual, wins and losses. So I can't speak to this, but WWE went from, what they go from like WrestleMania to SummerSlam without having Roman defend his belt. So I have my doubts on that. Thank you, David. All right. One more. This is Kia Ora from New Zealand. And Kia says, I have started listening to your podcast in the last couple months, and I really enjoy it. I've subscribed on WWEpodcast.com so I can watch the premium, or on WWE.com so I can watch the premium live events. Unfortunately, Raw and SmackDown are a whole month behind, so I rely on your show to keep me updated with everything that happens on these shows. My first question is, does USA also have those issues where Raw and SmackDown are so behind on the network? My latest episode is from September. Yeah, you can't. Here's what I'd recommend. Okay, there's many different options you have. Number one, if you don't have Hulu, then which is, by the way, how I watch it and a lot of people watch it. Hulu gives you the show the next day, and you're able to watch it ad free, and it cuts it to 90 minutes. It doesn't get everything, but it gets most things. So that's your option. If you don't have Hulu in New Zealand, I'm imagining you have something called YouTube, and YouTube, you can search highlights. You can't watch the whole show, but you can watch highlights of the important moments of Raw. If you don't want to do that, and you still want to watch the shows, you can just search watch WWE Raw from, and then put in the date, like 1/3/2023, like type in the date, and there's many different places you can go that you'll have to get through a couple ads, but you can watch the whole thing for free. Search it out on Google. And that's the reason why you're not able to go to WWE.com or USA on delay or whatever, because WWE has an exclusive contract with Hulu for the next day rights to their TV shows. So Hulu is the place to go, but there are free free options. Second, what do you think of The Rock coming out in front of to confront Roman at a PLE and telling him that he needs to respect the belts he has been winning without the help of the Bloodline, and then creates a WrestleMania 40 match? Anyway, just a thought. Keep up the great podcast, Andrew. Well, thank you, Andrew. From you said Kia Ora. Well, Andrew, one of the two, from New Zealand. Very cool. You are thousands of miles away from me, which is just crazy to think. I don't know who the hell I'm reaching, but I'm glad you found us, and we'll do our best to keep you updated. And I have kind of put The Rock to the side again until I see more evidence, because it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just indifferent to me now. Should it happen? Yes. Will it happen at this PLE? No, it will not. Very, very, very unlikely The Rock comes out in Saudi Arabia to confront Roman. Very unlikely. If this was to happen, you're looking more towards the end of the year or at the Royal Rumble. That's my guess, where it at least gets started and they can work towards WrestleMania 40. Thank you, Andrew. All right. That concludes, I believe, famous last words. That concludes our email portion of the show. So let's dive into the lovely voicemails. Let's go.
Podcast world. This is DJ Kuzmo back at it again on your Mailbag show, recording to you live on a Wednesday morning. And let's get to your favorite show to come on every single week on the Mailbag. And I'm talking about the Veer Mahaan Report. Now, the Veer Mahaan Report took place this past Monday night on Monday Night Raw, live from Greenville, South Carolina. And yet again, the Indus share have not been on Monday Night Raw yet again. Now, I'm not giving up hope. I have high expectations for this tag team because there's so many tag teams right now that are doing pretty good. We got the debut of the Creed brothers. We got A-Town Down Under on SmackDown. We got the Street Profits. We got the Judgment Day with their undisputed tag team championships, and hopefully they could split the tag team championships. But why not give the Indus share of my guy, Veer Mahaan, Sangha, and of course the modern day Maharaja, the manager himself, Jinder Mahal, managing this great group of guys, the Indus share. So hopefully, just hopefully, I will get to see these guys back after Crown Jewel, and maybe, just maybe, they'll make some noise in the tag team division that seems to be bubbling right now on Monday Night Raw. Now, with that being said, this is your guy, DJ Kuzmo. Have a blessed week. Be kind to one another. Stay easy, my friends. Enjoy Crown Jewel, and peace.
Hey, DJ. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Indus share. Yeah, they appeared a couple weeks ago and with a quick conversation, and then they just vanished into thin air like they do. I continue to hold out hope they'll make an appearance in Saudi Arabia. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. They should be there in some kind of form, fashion, and interfere. But if not, like either crap or get off the pot with them, as the saying goes. Let's move forward. I think there's a lot there. I have said this too. You're the one that kind of turned me on to their abilities and really their presence and what they bring to the table. And I think it's a lot, honestly. Now, do I think they are destined for the Hall of Fame as a tag team? Probably not. But time will tell. And I want to see what they can do. The tag team division as of late, look what happened this past week. We got DIY and the Creed brothers on Raw. Now, with two babyface teams, you would think that this could lead to a balancing of the equation needed, where Veer Mahaan and Sangha are with hopefully Jinder Mahal, where you need to kind of balance it out and have, the heels or babyfaces have someone to work with. So I think if we don't see them by next Monday Night Raw, it's not a good sign. I do worry every time that WWE does releases, right? It does scare me, but I hold out hope. So hopefully this time next week, you're going to say, and my brothers, Veer Mahaan and Sangha showed up. And I hope that's the case. I hope next week we're not talking about the same thing we've been talking about for weeks, because they deserve an opportunity here. I liked what I saw. So, all right, let's keep going.
Hello, WWE Podcast. This is Sharon from Israel. Still war in my country. Still need wrestling as escapism. Still so much need to talk and see people fight each other. Not because they hate each other, just because they get money and there's a script that's telling them to do it. So, yes. If we are talking about escapism, I really didn't want to do this, and really don't want to insert politics into wrestling. And also it's like your podcast, so maybe you don't want to get politics in your podcast. But just for notice, when Sami Zayn spoke about oppression, he spoke about what's happening in my country between us and Gaza. That's it. I mean, I have opinions about it. I will say it like that. He was an oppressor when he was part of the bloodline. He was an oppressor when he had Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro next to him. He was an oppressor when he had Kevin Owens and etc. So, like, you're not a rebellion. You're like a wrestler that wrestle other people, and you don't need to put your political agenda into your promos. You don't see Paul Heyman do it. We can talk more about it in our conversation in Friday. I'm really excited about it. I'm really looking forward to it. To the time that we will speak together in Friday. I hope you remember it. We did emails and talked about it, and please remember it. One more thing. What's really interesting, that Crown Jewel turning to be one of the hottest, most superstar event that we have for a very long time. I do think that we'll have like a dramatic thing, maybe the bloodline, maybe a return of someone. Maybe someone starts with an R, not The Rock, maybe Randy Orton, I don't know. So it will be really packed and nice. And I did thought today that we will have 5 more years of the Crown Jewel, whatever thing that you want to say, in those Saudi Arabia places. So good luck with that, and keep doing good things. Bye.
All right, Sean. Well, first of all, no fear. I didn't forget. I'm terrible at remembering things. I feel like I have early onset Alzheimer's at 38 years old, but no, I did not forget. It'll be 8 a.m. my time, which, if I'm correct, was it like 3 p.m. your time? 2 p.m. your time? Something like that. I think you're 7 hours ahead. So I had 7 hours to 8 a.m., which I think you don't use. Do you use AM or PM, or do you use like military time? If it's military time, then for me, it's 0800 hours. That's all I know. So that's what it is for me here on the East Coast of the United States. So no, I didn't forget. Again, we'll talk for an hour or so and talk about, of course, Crown Jewel. But since you're in Israel, I mean, it's going to be difficult to not talk about just kind of briefly what the heck's going on over there. And we see the news and we know what's happening, but to speak to somebody that's there in the country of which there is a lot going on is going to be a much more interesting, introspective. But I'm looking forward to it as well. And I know that you didn't want to bring politics into it, but Sami Zayn, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, he kind of did. He kind of did bring that up. Now, you could say that he was speaking to what's going on in Gaza and Israel, oppression. Sure, it could be. But like in the United States, there's a lot of other groups here that are claiming oppression. I'll just leave it at that. it's a very it's a very overused term, I think, thrown around here in the United States. So he could have been referencing what's going on in Israel and Gaza and Hamas and all that. Could be. I don't know, but it was interesting. That choice of word in today's culture was a very interesting choice by Sami. And look, there have been clues also with Sami Zayn about, what he thinks about certain things and where he stands politically. He does. He has been a little bit vocal about that. And, wrestlers have been in the past too. Like CM Punk is he's very vocal about where he stands. So I hate when it's brought in. I don't think politics has any place in wrestling. I'm not saying that you can't talk about it, Sharon. I'm saying when wrestlers bring it in, it's so in our face all the time that like I don't want to be talking about it on the show, that I'm trying to escape that very thing that I don't want to talk about. But here's the thing. It's inevitable, even with the bubble that is WWE and any form of entertainment, sports included, that with such an intense and traumatic world that we live in, that those things bleed in. And as a podcaster, I want to do the best I can to kind of push those things out, because that's not what we're here for. We get that everywhere we are. We're scrolling through social media. We're scrolling on Facebook. We're talking to family and friends, and that seems to be what's on most people's minds. And that kind of stuff. You need a break from it, or you go crazy. So, it's inevitable that it bleeds into WWE, and I think as we go forward, it may bleed a little bit more into WWE, because you have to look at the parent company that owns the WWE now. You have to look at Endeavor, right? And what do they believe? Who truly owns Endeavor, right? You have to look at the owners now of WWE and look at their political views, because unfortunately today, as I said, and this is the last thing I'll say on politics and I'll move on, is like politics now, even if you're running a major organization, it's almost as if you're expected to implement your political beliefs on others that work in the company. You should kind of shape your culture in the company around what your political beliefs are. That's what's happening here. Okay. So again, I'm not privy to what's going on in Israel, other than the crazy events that are happening and taking place. And I'm keeping a close eye on that because it's just horrific. But that's how it's going here. And so when Sami Zayn said that, I go, my ears perked up and I'm like, really, bro? What are we talking about here? So he's almost, he was speaking about being oppressed. And I'm like, what? Whoa. Like, you're hardly oppressed when you're making millions a year in a job that you're voluntarily engaging in. It's kind of the antithesis of what oppression means. So nonetheless, I hope you enjoy your crown jewel event. But we'll be talking, of course, before that time and giving your predictions. Of course, we'll talk about the heavy stuff. We'll talk about a little bit of that. But I want to make it a primarily wrestling show, and get your predictions ready. All right, Sharon, thank you. Let's continue.
How's it going, Matt? Discord, Rusty Lucy, White Lucy. It's October 27th. Calling from Maine. I just want to let you know that I'm alright. I'm not being selfish or anything. Just by calling to say everything's good at my part. You know what I mean? Scary that the world, has to have situations like this happen. But I just wanted to call in and just say with everybody that you got in your family, say you love them. Even if it's universe. I know you don't like to call it that, but whatever. Some people tell me that. Sorry about the noise. I had to car. I'm not going to say that they're not going to mention it. I don't want this to be played or anything. I really know. Yeah, I just wanted to call and let you know. Just give like a shout out to people, you know. But sometimes you just gotta let everybody know you love them. Doesn't hurt to say it, you know what I mean? And I know with everything going on in Israel and everything like that, you got two pieces around me. I got three of mine. Broken. You heard that baby making noise. In the background, when you were talking, oh my God, bro. I can't even. I literally can't even. And then just to think, we all say that nothing will happen in my neck of the woods. And Maine has an stasis or the highest rate safest place for guns or whatever statistics you hear about it. It's just you would never think it's gonna hit you in the home. Well, I just wanted to let y'all know we love what you do. WWE Podcast, you, Michael Ritter, Big John, all of y'all bringing the heat every week. No lie, in your face, we got it. WWE Podcast, rock.
All right, that voicemail, I got the gist of it. I actually didn't catch your name. Are you working in a steel mill? Like, it sounds like you're working. I'm not trying to make light of your message. The background noise was just so heavy that it sounded like it was steel grinding on steel. So feel free to call back next week with maybe a little quieter environment. But I got the gist of it. And you said you're from Maine, and I'm imagining you're referring to the horrific shooting that took place. The mass shooting in a bowling alley in a bar, and 18 people were killed, and it's horrific. I mean, we're talking about world events here, guys, but it's life, and I appreciate that. I think you said you're in the Discord server too, so continue to, of course, participate there, and use wrestling as your therapy. And a lot of us do. A lot of us, not just wrestling, but you use sports, other forms of entertainment. It's why we binge stuff. It's why we're a lot of times on social media to kind of numb ourselves, almost too much, right? We numb ourselves to the point where we just don't feel anything anymore, and that's also not good. So, but again, the background noise was a bit overwhelming, and I really invite you to call back next week. And I'm sure you'll say, "Oh, it was me from last week." I'm the one with all the background noise. I didn't catch your name, so let me know who you are, and I'd love to hear from you. All right, alrighty. Let's go check one more. I think we might have one more voicemail, and I think if I'm correct, I think it's Mike from Connecticut. So let's see what Mike's got to say.
Hey, Matt and WWE Podcast family. This is Mike from Connecticut. Hope all is well with everyone. Matt, I just want to let you know I'm the guy who called in last week. Actually, as you're recording this, I'm recording this 2 weeks ago on the Mailbag, who called you out and Anthony about your friendship with Cody Rhodes, your secret friendship. So I forgot to leave my name, which I usually do. So it was me, Mike from Connecticut. Anyway, I was thinking about your thoughts about the tag team division and how names are kind of just thrown together, like different factions and whatnot, and there's not really a lot of true tag teams with the name. Well, like, for example, the word "the" in front of it, like the British Bulldogs, the Heart Foundation, the Rockers. I know I'm kind of dating myself here, but the New Age Outlaws, actual true tag teams, the Dudley Boys, that kind of thing. And it came to me that, I was listening to DJ and his love and passion for the Indus-Shear, and how I think it would be a really, really great rivalry if the Indus-Shear, captures the tag team championships, and the Viking Raiders approached them and said, "Hey, you're not the only tough guys in town here. And the Raiders would come out and get the better of the Indashir one week, and then vice versa. And you'd have those tag teams, the Viking Raiders and the Indashir. You're talking about 4 major big gentlemen going at it in the ring, and if they did it right, it would be wow. It would be very, very interesting. Something they could stretch out for 2, maybe 3 months. Make a really good storyline out of it, not just a one-off at a B pay-per-view. So that would be, in my opinion, a really good way to spice up the tag team division and really get it back into the ranks that it should be, and there people are actually, talking about it and interested in it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have a great day, guys. Take care.
All right, Mike. Yeah, I like that. I just want the Indashir in the mix here. Like forever they were just they were in NXT, and then they bring them to Raw briefly, and then they were really in dark matches, and then they were not on the Hulu cut, and then they were seen talking to Adam Pearce, or what are we doing? It's like they start, stop, don't start, they're gone. Then let's see what we've got. It feels like they haven't given them a fair chance, and I would agree. Viking Raiders and the Indashir, let's go. Plus, we just got 2 new tag teams debuting, or rather, being elevated to Raw in DIY and the Creed brothers. Both wrestling machine teams. I mean, you saw the match that DIY put on this week. You saw the match that the Creed brothers and Alpha Academy put on this week. Wrestling clinics. So you're going to get a bust-ass match, and having the Indashir versus the Viking Raiders, we've got teams now. Let's see what they can do. Let's make the tag team division. Doesn't have to be the focal point of every show. WWE will never make that always the focal point of the show. They will always elevate singles championships over the tag team championships. But once in a while they can swap places, make it a main event for a few weeks. Now, it's very rare that you even have a tag team championship match headline a pay-per-view. I know it headlined WrestleMania Night 1. I understand that, but that was an exception because of how damn hot at that time the Bloodline story was, and how at a boiling point we were to see the Usos lose the belts to Kevin and Sami. It's more the exception than the rule. But generally, the tag team championships never main event anything. So it'd be a nice change. And we've got new faces now. So let's go. I like that, Mike. All right. Thank you, everybody, for calling in and for writing in and taking the time to do so. And I appreciate all the kind words for this mailbag. And it's you guys. I mean, I respond to it and give my thoughts, but this is, as always, a platform for you guys. And the best platform, though, for you guys to interact with each other is Patreon. Patreon.com/WWE podcast, where you can talk to all the other patrons who are part of this WWE podcast family. And that's a Discord server that you can use that's available day one. The second you start your membership, no matter what tier you're in, you have access to that Discord server. If you don't have access or your link dies, a lot of you tell me that happens, message me. I'll put out the link. The link sometimes changes. I haven't quite figured out why it dies or why the link stops working. I don't know. But I will send you a fresh link every single time. If you somehow lose it or it says it's not working, the link's broken, let me know. I'll send it right to you. I'm over on Patreon, and you also get everything ad-free. Head on over there, www.podcast.com. We have merch on our store, www.podcastshop.com, and I really recommend you check it out. So thanks, everybody, for listening. That'll do it for me for tonight, and I'll be back Friday morning. We'll be posting a show with Sharon and myself doing the Crown Jewel preview and prediction show, so take a look out for that. Really looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Take care. I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.